Ben Wells and Zafar Gohar both hit career bests, but Gloucestershire were comfortably beaten by Warwickshire in their first one-day cup match of the summer, losing by 8 wickets with 68 balls not required. Put in Cheltenham, Wells, in only his third list day match, looked good from the off. The Bath-born 22-year-old was as good off the back foot as he was off the front, as he and Chris Dent opened up this year's 50-over competition with a stand of 48. Those runs being made from 7 overs. It was an encouraging beginning. Dent then fell for 23, chopping on his former teammate Craig Miles, a somewhat unfortunate way to depart, although Dent was late on his shot. After 10 overs, the total read 63, Wells really enjoying himself as he effortlessly flicked Miles over the rope for the game's first 6. Alas, next ball he lost Marcus Harris at the other end for 7, the left-hander nicking off to Oliver Hannon-Dolby. Gloucestershire then slipped to 78 for 3 in the 14th over as James Bracey was brilliantly caught by Michael Burgess behind the stumps. It was a spectacular take by the keeper as Bracey departed for 9. The boundaries then dried up as Wells, now joined by Ollie Price, had to rebuild. They added 51 runs for the 5th wicket, Price the dominant partner, only to then fall leg before to Krunal Pandya's arm ball. Wells, meanwhile, had completed a runner-ball half-century and would have been hoping to bat through, especially with Jack Taylor taking up the reins at the other end. But he was the 5th to fall, drilling Liam Norwell to Matthew Lamb after making 22. His side now left on 158 for 5 after 30 overs. On went Wells, as he now needed to, his fine knock finally ending on 76 when he holed out off Will Rhodes. He was so disappointed, but he had made a name for himself in his 87-ball stay. Gloucestershire had simply lost too many wickets at regular intervals, which had constantly put the brakes on their progress. Still, with Zafar looking in fine fettle, they had 204 runs on the board with 10 overs left to add to that. Tom Price departed for a dozen, another to pick out a fielder and knock the gap. With 4 overs left, the score had reached 242 for 8. Tom Smith gone for 9, bowled behind his legs by a quicker ball from Pandya. Josh Shaw fell at the end of the 48th over, held in the deep off Hannon-Dolby, leaving it to Zafar to go big off Miles to pass his previous best in this format. He was the last to fall as Gloucestershire were bowled out for 264 with an over unused. Zafar's 62 coming from 51 deliveries with 7 fours and 1 6. It looked short, and especially so when Rob Yates and Dom Sibley batted through the first 21 overs of Warwickshire's reply, making the remainder of their innings rather comfortable. Boundaries were all too easy to come by. Yates's 7th 4, added to 1-6, had him at a 50 from just 38 deliveries. The visiting openers had 3 figures on the board in the 15th over. Yates was just too good on the day. Sibley was happy to play second fiddle, but was also able to ease to his own 50, which had taken him 58 balls to reach. Finally, a wicket was earned by Ollie Price as Yates on 87 missed a sweep and was adjudged leg before. His innings had occupied only 65 balls. Only 47 runs were wanted from 16.5 overs when Rhodes was out for 40, Bracey with an excellent low catch after Tom Price found the edge. But it was never going to be anything other than a consolation. Sibley added a 6 to his 10 fours before he completed only his 2nd list day 100. It had been a masterclass from the former England man, 3 figures coming off 106 balls. It had all been a little bit too easy for him. The match concluded midway through the 39th over, with Sibley ending on 106. So the Bears took the game by 8 wickets with 68 balls to spare, not the way the Gloucesters would have wanted to finish their annual trip to Cheltenham. They go again in Hove on Friday.